Y'all know what it is. It's your boy Lloyd Knows checking in, back at it again. And first and foremost, this is a safe space. So, you know, just want to, put that disclaimer out there to begin with. Because this is, I guess, kind of a touchy subject, so to speak, touchy-feely. Some people get all emotional about it. But it's a sensitive topic. It's a sensitive topic. We're talking about mental health, right? So, mental health is in the headlines every day, but specifically today, and specifically when it comes to the sports world. Tennis star Naomi Osaka, if y'all haven't heard, she's a big tennis star, probably the #1 tennis player in the world. I know Serena is probably the GOAT, but as of now, currently as it stands, Naomi is kind of a big deal. Kind of a big deal. I think she was a Grand Slam champion last year, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe this year. I don't really keep up with tennis that much. I'm just a sports guy, but, I'm, somewhat knowledgeable of tennis, and I know who the GOAT is. And right now I know who, the champ is, and it's Naomi, as far as women are concerned. Naomi Osaka, who is half black and half Asian descent, and is probably the best female tennis player in the world. And so this week, she was supposed to participate in the French Open, right? And the reason why I said is because she has opted out due to criticism from media and whatnot. So if you don't know, Naomi, like millions of people, including myself, suffers from mental issues, whether it be anxiety, depression, whatever the reason is. I believe she has had depression issues and maybe even has anxiety issues, which I've dealt with personally myself, so I can relate to her and speak on the matter. It's definitely something that's tough to deal with. Not the easiest thing to deal with. I was listening to Stephen A. Smith and Max Kellerman on First Take earlier, and Stephen A., mentioned that he dealt with depression in the past after losing his mother. And he also mentioned that sometimes you don't even know that you're depressed. And that's the thing, like, sometimes you need people to save you from yourself because you don't know necessarily what's going on in your head, but, other people may know that something's not right. And so, Naomi stated that she didn't want to participate in the media questioning or participate in the media press conference or any media opportunities she didn't want to participate in. And as a requirement of being a professional athlete, you have to deal with the media, right? It's in your contract, contractually speaking. If you don't deal with the media, you will be fined, which she was fined and reprimanded for. And she got a lot of scrutiny from the press, even, if I'm not mistaken, threatening to keep her out of the French Open if she didn't participate. So what did she do? To, I guess, not make it a big deal, or to not make it a big distraction for the rest of the participants of the French Open, she chose to opt out of the French Open all the way. She said, you know what? If this is how it's going to be, this is how it's going to be. And there's a lot of mixed emotions about that. There's a lot of people that are upset with the French Open and the Tennis Association for not making an exemption for her or not working with her. There's people mad at Naomi for not, being mature enough to do the press conference and to deal with the media. And I'm kind of mixed as well. I'm really on both sides. But at the end of the day, I don't think you can necessarily blame anyone. But, both parties have their reasoning for doing what they do. And let me explain. So to take the French Open side, are they supposed to make an exception for her? I mean, let's think about this. There have been hundreds of thousands of athletes since the beginning of time. Athletics has been going on for, what, centuries now? Hundreds of years now at this point. And I know media and press conferences haven't necessarily been around that long, but the fact of the matter is there have been thousands upon thousands of athletes that have also dealt with mental health issues as well as physical health issues due to their sport, and they still were able to deal with whatever scrutiny or whatever media obligations were handed to them. And so to make an exemption for this one person wouldn't necessarily be fair to everyone else that had to come before, as well as the current participants that are actively participating now, and as well as future. So do we make an exemption for her? And if we make an exemption for her, the floodgate's kind of open to where now we have to make an exemption for everyone. Now we have to cater to everyone due to whatever issues or needs that they have. I mean, part of being a professional athlete is you're obligated to deal with the media and the press. And so if it's not something that you're willing to deal with, no matter the reason, whether it be depression or not, then don't be a professional athlete, one would say. Be an amateur athlete, play tennis at playgrounds, play tennis at local parks, do whatever you want. But if you want to be a professional athlete, this is what's asked of you. And so, in a way, I know Molly had mentioned earlier on First Take, as I revert back to that, what are some other options we could have for her? Maybe should she be there? Is it better to have Naomi there and not participating than to not have her there at all? And my answer is no, it's not. She shouldn't be there. If she's not participating, then she shouldn't be there, right? She's a professional athlete, first and foremost. She's a human, but she's a professional athlete. That's her job. And so if she's not participating in athletics, then what use is she at that point? Is she supposed to be an advocate to just speak out? I mean, she's not necessarily a public speaker. Obviously, she doesn't like speaking in public. So if she's not actually performing and doing what she does best, then what use is she? She's not. And so she'd be more of a distraction. And so that's my answer. If she's not going to participate, then she shouldn't be there. She needs to participate or not be there at all. And she did the right thing by, just separating herself from the issue and not being a distraction. Look, we all have obligations at the end of the day. And if the French Open, the Tennis Association, chose to not make an exception for her, they have every right. Now, on Naomi's defense, as a person who's dealt with mental issues, she did the right thing. She did the right thing. As much as she didn't want to participate in the media and the press, she took herself out of the situation so that she wouldn't be a distraction to the other participants, and so that she wasn't under the pressure to participate in something that she didn't feel as though she wanted to. Man, dealing with depression, as I can attest, is not easy. You kind of find yourself doing things that you wouldn't normally do. You kind of find yourself kind of not even being in control of your own actions or your own body. And that sounds crazy and it sounds weird, like how can you not control yourself? But in a way, you've kind of got to a point where you have lost control of your faculties and whatever is going on, and you're kind of having an out-of-body experience. And so you might do stuff that you don't do normally and might act in ways that you don't normally act, and you might not even realize it. Other people might have to point it out for you. Or you might realize it and don't know what to do. Or you might realize it and don't know if there is a way out, And you keep it bottled in and you don't speak to people, and then it turns to the worst. I encourage Naomi to seek help, which I'm assuming she's doing in her own way. and to don't run away from it, you know? Face it head on. That's my opinion. I feel as though maybe she's kind of trying not to face it head on by not trying to, you know, participate in the media obligations, and she's trying to shy away from it and, you know, cope with it. But I feel like, and not to say that she's not seeking help, but I just feel like by not obligating to the media, you know, you're not doing yourself a service. And I understand right now you might not be in a position where you feel like you can talk to the media. I understand that, because there were times where I didn't want to get out the bed, didn't want to go to work. Hell, it cost me my job, you know? And so the fact of the matter is, depression can affect you physically as well as mentally. It definitely has physical ailments. I lost weight. I had night sweats. I had super bouts of fatigue to where I didn't want to do anything. So it definitely has physical elements as well as the mental elements. But I encourage her to seek help, get it in order, because when she comes back, she's still going to be asked to do those media obligations. So it's not like they're going to go away just because she doesn't want to do it. It's part of being a professional athlete. So I would recommend to do what she's doing right now, step away, get what help you need, get your faculties in order so that you can come back to the sport and be as dominant as you were. Naomi, I love you. You're a beautiful woman, and I'm sure you have a beautiful heart. You know, you are probably one of the reasons why I watch tennis, because you are attractive and you're very great at it, you know? And so you actually bring a lot of eyes to the sport, and when you're not out there, those views and that viewership goes down. And so I encourage you to get help, seek help, and do what's best for you. It may be tough. I know it is. I know it's challenging, but facing it head on is probably the best and only way. And you have to do it at your own time. But it's definitely something that you're going to have to face and deal with. And I'm just praying and hoping that you are able to overcome it. And it might be a lifelong battle. You know, people are depressed now and the next day they're not. You know, it happens. It fluctuates. Sometimes people are depressed for months and then they're not. You know, I don't know how long this battle is going to be for you, but I'm praying that you win. I'm praying that we see you out there with your beautiful self. And, you know, I'm praying that the best is yet to come. So that's my take on it. You know, I just want to get my thoughts out there, because I know there's been a lot of polarizing opinions about her and the topic of mental illness. But, you know, I'm just wishing the best for her. I know she's going to overcome it. I know she's strong enough to do it. And I don't have nothing but love for you, Naomi. So do your thing, and I hope to see you real soon. Holla at y'all. Peace.